Life does not care about your excuses. Let that sit. Let it sink, because it's the truth, cold, hard, and unmoved by your feelings. Life is not soft. It doesn't wait for you to feel ready. It doesn't slow down because you had a rough childhood, or because you were betrayed, or because someone told you that you'd never amount to anything. Life doesn't stop and ask, "Are you okay?" When you trip, it just keeps going. And if you don't learn to stand up and run after it, it'll leave you behind like you never mattered to begin with. You see, we get caught up in thinking the world owes us something because we've been through pain. But pain is part of the process. Pain is life's way of asking, how bad do you want it? You can cry, you can scream, you can sit in the corner and tell the world why it's so unfair. But while you're doing all that, someone else out there is taking that same pain and using it as fuel. They're grinding. They're pushing. They're bleeding forward. It doesn't matter how you got knocked down. What matters is if you get back up. And I'm not talking about that dramatic movie scene kind of comeback. I'm talking about the quiet decision you make when no one's watching. The decision to keep going. Even though you're tired, even though you're scared, even though every excuse in the world is whispering in your ear. Life does not hand out passes. No exemptions, no special treatment. It responds to action, to resilience, to the ones who show up every single day and say, "I'm not done yet." So stop waiting on life to feel sorry for you. It won't. It never has. It never will. Now listen, when I say your excuses are valid, I mean it. I'm not here to dismiss your story or act like what you've been through doesn't matter. Some of you have seen things nobody should ever see. You've carried weight you didn't ask for. You've had to grow up too fast, survive too much, fight through storms that never gave you time to catch your breath. Maybe you lost a parent. Maybe you never had one. Maybe you lived in a house full of people but still felt alone. Maybe you've battled addiction, anxiety, depression, fought silent wars no one ever saw. That's real. That pain, that struggle, that chaos, that's part of your truth. But here's the part most people don't want to hear. Just because it's real doesn't mean it gives you permission to quit. You can carry your story, but don't use it to justify your silence, your fear, your inaction. Your past may explain how you got here, but it doesn't have the power to keep you here unless you let it. The world does not stop turning because of what you've been through. It won't bend for your brokenness. It won't hold your hand because you've suffered. It just keeps moving. And if you want to survive, no. If you want to thrive, you've got to learn to move with it. You think you're the only one who's had it hard. Look around. The people you admire, the ones who made something out of nothing, they didn't get there because life was kind. They got there because they stopped letting pain write their future. You think J.K. Rowling wasn't scared, sitting in a cafe with a baby and no money. You think Oprah didn't cry in the dark when no one was watching. They had every reason to give up, but they didn't. They had excuses too, plenty. But they buried those excuses under the work. That's what this is about. Not denying your hardship, but refusing to be defined by it. The difference between the ones who rise and the ones who don't. It's not talent. It's not intelligence. It's not luck. It's the decision to stop hiding behind reasons and start building despite them. Excuses may bring you comfort. They may even get you sympathy, but they won't get you success. They won't get you peace. They won't get you to that higher ground you say you want. Every time you lean on an excuse, you give up a little bit of your power. And life responds to power, to effort, to grit, to people who say, yeah, I've been through it, but I'm still standing and I'm not done yet. So feel your pain. Acknowledge your past, but don't you dare let it become your anchor. You've got dreams to chase. You've got a future to fight for. And that fight starts the moment you decide that your excuses may be valid, but they're no longer enough. Let me tell you something real, something you might not want to hear but need to. The world doesn't pay you for effort alone. The world doesn't hand out awards for almost. You don't get to stand on the podium because you tried hard but came up short. Trying is necessary, yeah, it's part of the process. But trying without producing, without delivering, that's not enough. Not in this world. You don't get the job because you had good intentions. You don't build a legacy because you meant well. You don't succeed because you had potential. That's not how this works. You either showed up and did what needed to be done or you didn't. That's the scoreboard life uses. No maybes, no almosts, no I had a rough day, just results. And I know some of you are carrying a lot. You're tired, you're overwhelmed, you're doing the best you can with what you've got. I see that. I respect that. But life isn't a classroom with extra credit. It's not going to grade you on a curve. You don't get points for showing up and saying, well, I would have finished the work, but I wasn't in the right mindset. You don't get to walk across the stage saying, I could have done it if things were different. No, you did it or you didn't. This isn't rehearsal. You don't get another shot at today. Some of y'all are out here living like time is unlimited, like you've got a dress rehearsal before the real performance begins. But this, right now, is the show. This is it. The lights are on, the audience is watching, and the clock is ticking. Too many people are waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect mindset, the perfect opportunity. But perfection doesn't exist. And while you're waiting for it, life is passing you by. You've got dreams collecting dust because you keep saying, I'll do it when I'm ready. Newsflash, readiness is a myth. Nobody ever feels 100% ready. You move anyway. Look, we all have moments where we fall short. We're human. But you can't let those moments become your pattern. You can't keep telling yourself the same story. I meant to. I almost did. I was going to. Those lines won't build your business. They won't fix your marriage. They won't change your life. Only action will. So I'm not here to guilt trip you. I'm not here to shame you. I'm here to wake you up. To remind you that potential is wasted every day by people who never take the step from intention to execution. You've got to stop planning your future and start creating it. Because the world, it doesn't care what you meant to do. It only remembers what you actually did. Let me give it to you straight. There is no path to greatness that doesn't pass through pain. None. Everybody, and I mean everybody, pays a price. No one escapes the toll booth. Now, you get to choose which price you pay. You either pay the price of discipline, of sacrifice, of showing up when it's hard, or you pay the price of regret, of wishing you had when it's already too late. But understand this, either way you pay, and pain, don't take it personally. Pain doesn't show up in your life because it has something against you. Pain isn't picking on you. It's not some punishment handed out to the unlucky. It's part of the process, part of the growth. Part of what shapes you, carves you into who you're supposed to become. Every dream you chase is going to test you. It's going to ask, how bad do you want it? And pain is the question life uses to find out. Michael Jordan got cut from his high school varsity team. Let that sink in. The greatest basketball player of all time wasn't good enough. They told him, not this year. Now, he could have taken that pain and folded. He could have believed it. Instead, he let it burn. He let it push him, not break him. That's the difference. See, pain can paralyze you, make you doubt, make you shrink, make you stop. Or it can light a fire so deep in your gut, you train harder, work longer, focus sharper than you ever thought possible. But pain is just the tool. What you do with it, that's all on you. Some of you are waiting for life to get easier before you get serious. Let me tell you something, it won't. Growth doesn't come in comfort. Comfort is where dreams go to die. You don't build strength by doing what's easy. You build it by doing what hurts, by standing in the storm and refusing to run. Every champion, every leader, every success story you admire, they bled for it. They broke before they rose. They suffered in silence, got rejected, failed, got laughed at, overlooked, doubted, and still they moved. Still they got back up. That's not luck. That's pain turned into power. Pain shows up to teach, not to destroy. It teaches resilience, hunger, humility. It teaches you to value what you've earned. It separates those who are just interested from those who are truly committed. The ones who keep showing up when it hurts, when it's thankless, when it looks like nothing's working. Those are the ones who get there. You want to win? Then stop running from the discomfort. Stop waiting for the struggle to pass. Lean into it, let it mold you, let it stretch you. Because the pain you're feeling today may just be the very thing that prepares you for the purpose you've been praying for. Life is like a GPS. You take a wrong turn, miss an exit, ignore the directions. It doesn't scream, it doesn't scold, it doesn't sit in silence and sulk. It just says recalculating, and then it moves on. Simple. No emotions, no drama. It just keeps finding another way forward. Now, that might seem cold, but that's exactly how success works. It's not interested in your story, not your reasons, not even your pain. It's not asking you to explain why things didn't go your way. It just wants to know one thing. What are you going to do now? We live in a world that has become too comfortable with the idea that everything should be fair. That life is supposed to understand our setbacks, make space for our struggles, and reward us just for trying. But the truth is, success has no sympathy. It's not going to slow down just because you're hurting. It's not going to give you a head start because you had a rough beginning. You could be the most talented, the most gifted, the most passionate person in the room. But if you don't show up and deliver, none of it matters. There are no participation trophies in real life. You don't get to say, I almost started the business, or I'm going to go back to school, or I was about to chase my dream, but then life got in the way. Life always gets in the way. There's always going to be a reason to quit, always going to be a valid excuse. But success doesn't bend to your emotions. It doesn't care if you're tired, broke, heartbroken, or halfway healed. It asks you the same question every single day: are you going to keep going? You see, people spend too much time trying to justify why they're stuck. They blame the economy, their boss, their past, their parents, the weather, the world. But pointing fingers never moved anybody forward. You've got to stop looking for sympathy and start looking for strategy. You took a wrong turn. So what? Recalculate. You fell off. Recalculate. Knocked you down. Recalculate. But don't just sit there hoping success will come back and wait for you. It won't. You've got to have that mindset that says, no matter what happened yesterday, I'm still in this. Not because it's easy, but because your future depends on it. You've got to be the kind of person who shows up after the storm, after the fall, after the failure, and says, let's get back to it. No pity party, no whining, just work. Because success doesn't feel sorry for you. It doesn't care about your detours. It only responds to action, to discipline, to decisions made when no one's clapping, no one's watching, and everything inside you wants to quit. Success doesn't speak the language of excuses. It speaks progress. It speaks results. It speaks. What are you going to do now? Too many of us are out here negotiating with our potential like it's a casual agreement, like it's something we can pick up and put down depending on how we feel that day, like it's optional. But let me tell you something. Your potential is not up for negotiation. You were not put here just to survive, to coast through life, to check boxes and make it to Friday. You were born to thrive, to build, to rise. But thriving isn't automatic. It's not handed out. It's not for the half-committed or the convenience-driven. It takes fight. It takes sweat. It takes sacrifice that no one will ever applaud. There's a cost to unlocking what's inside you. You want success, but you don't want the silence that comes with discipline. You want the reward, but not the nights where you say no to distractions. You want the breakthrough, but you still keep a back door open, just in case. You say you want to win. Then stop losing arguments with your laziness. Stop making deals with your doubt. Stop allowing fear to talk you out of your future before you even step into the fight. Some of you keep giving yourself a way out, and that's why you haven't gone all in. That's why you haven't seen what you're really made of. You're still giving your excuses a seat at the table. You're still making backup plans for a calling that was never supposed to have a plan B. Burn the boats. That's it. No retreat. Either you conquer the island or you die trying. That's the level of commitment it takes. You can't build something great with 1 foot in and 1 foot out. You can't live a purpose-driven life when you're still entertaining the idea of quitting. That's not ambition. That's avoidance. You don't get to see your full potential while treating your goals like side projects. You've got to be obsessed, unapologetically. You've got to be the kind of person who says, I don't care how long it takes. I don't care how hard it takes. I'm not going anywhere until I become everything I was created to be. Look, potential means nothing if you don't activate it. You can have talent, vision, ideas, drive, but if you keep negotiating with comfort, you'll never get off the ground. And one day you'll look back, not at what you did, but at what you could have done. That's the kind of regret that cuts deep, the kind that doesn't fade with time. This world doesn't need another person who almost did something great. It needs people who go all in, who stop waiting for perfect timing, who stop entertaining doubt, who stop watering down their purpose just to stay safe. The clock's ticking. The mirror doesn't lie. The choice is yours. Keep negotiating with your greatness, or go take what's already been placed inside you. Let me tell you what winners do, what real leaders do, what people who change their lives, their families, their communities do. They look life dead in the eye and say, I take full responsibility. Not because everything that's happened to them was their fault, because a lot of it wasn't. People hurt you. Circumstances blindsided you. Life hit you with things you didn't see coming. But they take responsibility because they understand one truth: you can't change what you don't own. You don't get to rewrite the past. You don't get to undo what happened. But you do get to decide what happens next. That's where your power lives. That's where your breakthrough starts. Right there in the moment you stop pointing fingers and start drawing circles around yourself, not to blame, but to build. Because the moment you say, I'm not waiting for someone else to fix it. I'm not waiting for an apology. I'm not waiting for better luck or better timing. That's the moment you take your power back. See, too many people spend their lives waiting for the right conditions, waiting for someone to change, waiting for the system to change, waiting for the pain to go away. And while they're waiting, life is moving. Time is ticking, and nothing's changing. Because accountability isn't about waiting. It's about working. It's about stepping up, even when it's not fair, even when you didn't cause the problem, and saying, I want better. I've got to be better. If I want more, I've got to do more. You can't heal in a mindset that says, it's not my fault, because fault doesn't determine your future. Ownership does. You can't lead your life while living like a victim. And I'm not talking about denying your pain. I'm talking about refusing to stay stuck in it. Life is hard. Nobody's denying that. But your response, that's your superpower. That's your weapon. That's what separates you from the crowd. People will disappoint you. Systems will fail you. The world will knock you down. But every time you rise, every time you choose not to complain but to climb, you become stronger than your circumstances. You take control of your narrative, because you are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to do next. That's what accountability is. It's not weakness. It's not blame. It's not guilt. It's power. Quiet, relentless power. The kind that says, no matter what they did, no matter what life took from me, I'm still here. I'm still responsible for what happens next. And I refuse to waste that power blaming the past. So the next time life hits you, the next time something goes wrong, don't reach for an excuse. Don't reach for someone to blame. Reach for your responsibility, because that's where your future lies, right there in the decision to own it, face it, and rise through it every single time. Every morning you wake up, you've got a decision to make, not out there in the world, but right there in front of the mirror. That reflection you see, that's your real competition, not your boss. Not your co-workers, not the person with a nicer car or a bigger house, not the person with more followers, more degrees, more experience. No, the real challenge is staring right back at you. The one who knows when you're slacking, the one who knows every excuse, every shortcut, every time you said you'd do it tomorrow and didn't. You want to know what separates the good from the great? What takes someone from almost made it to made it? It's not just talent. Talent fades without effort. It's not luck either. Luck only shows up for the ones who are already in motion. The difference is ownership. It's discipline. It's doing what needs to be done even when nobody's watching. It's refusing to let excuses have more airtime than action, because excuses are easy. They're always ready, always available. I'm too tired. It's not the right time. I don't have the resources. Those lines will be there every single day. But what if, instead of repeating the same tired story, you asked a different question? What if I did it anyway? What if you pushed through even when the odds weren't in your favor? What if you showed up even when you were scared or unsure? What if you stopped waiting for permission, for clarity, for perfect conditions, and just moved forward with what you had? Greatness doesn't wait for convenience. It's built in the moments you don't feel like doing the work. It's earned when you choose discipline over distraction, purpose over comfort, action over excuses. Every time you choose to show up, to do the hard thing, to keep moving, you're putting distance between who you are and who you were. But here's the truth: no one else can do it for you. Not your parents, not your partner, not your mentor. This journey is personal, because only you know if you gave it everything. Only you know if you let fear win. Only you can answer the question, did I leave it all on the table today? So the next time you feel like explaining why you can't, why it's too hard, too late, too risky, pause, just pause, look in the mirror. And instead of explaining, execute. Instead of hiding behind doubt, ask yourself, what if I did it anyway? Because that question, that one simple shift can change everything. Every day you face that reflection, you have a chance to choose, to be a little better, to go a little further, to stop negotiating with your limits and start leaning into your purpose. And when you do that, day after day, moment after moment, that reflection, it won't just show you who you are. It'll reveal who you were always meant to be.